phone call between Republican Congresswoman Lauren Boebert and Democratic Congresswoman Ilhan Omar did not do much to diffuse tensions, if at all, between the two after Boebert's Islamophobic remarks about Omar surfaced last week, where she insinuated that Omar was a suicide bomber. Here's how Boebert describes the phone call.
I never want anything I say to offend someone's religion. So I told her that. She kept asking for a public apology. So I told Ilhan Omar that she should make a public apology to the American people for her anti-American, anti-Semitic, anti-police rhetoric.
So Omar reportedly hung up on Boebert, and then she issued the following statement. She said instead of apologizing for her Islamophobic comments and fabricated lies, Representative Boebert refused to publicly acknowledge her hurtful and dangerous comments. She instead doubled down on her rhetoric, and I decided to end the unproductive call. I believe in engaging with those we disagree with respectfully, but not when that disagreement is rooted in outright bigotry and hate. Let's discuss this now with Democratic Congresswoman Debbie Dingell of Michigan. It's sad, I think, to watch this back and forth. I wonder what your reaction is to it.
Good morning. I'm really concerned about what we're watching and witnessing happening in this country. What you just described is in the halls of Congress, which is the heart of democracy. But we have scenes like that playing out across the country. This country is being divided by fear and hatred and violence. And we need to all take a deep breath. We can disagree with each other. We can do it respectfully, but we need to respect each and every individual person for whoever they are, from wherever they came from, whatever their religion is. And I just would like everybody in this country to take a deep collective breath and start to think about the hateful things we are beginning to accept as okay.
What do you worry that kind of thing will spawn?
Well, I'm going to talk a little about what I've witnessed. A year ago when men were at the Capitol with assault weapons, not wearing gloves or masks, handing out candy, blocking emergency rooms, I defended my governor. Tucker Carlson did a rant on me, and men showed up outside of my house with assault weapons. I've had other incidences. I think many congressional offices, I don't know if it's most, I have young staff who really want to help, care about the world. They do help a lot of people every single day. They're also answering phones with hate and just the spewing of things that when I was young, I don't know what would have happened. We were just taught that you don't act this way in so many different ways. My young people are scared, and I see it across the hill. My colleague, Fred Upton, who got eviscerated for voting for the infrastructure bill, for bringing money home to his district for roads and bridges and internet and getting leads out of pipe. His staff was really rattled. He didn't care about the threats he got, but he was worried about his family and his staff. This has to stop. It is simply not okay.
Do you worry that Congress will actually lose talent, that they will lose talented people because of these concerns?
I very much worry about it. I talk to people who are like, why would I? Well, first of all, they wonder why they themselves would want to do it. But they care about their families. They love their families. They care about people in their community. And they don't want to put people that they love or care for at risk. And we can't let that happen. We need people of all kinds of backgrounds. That's what the House of Representatives is. It's a representative body of this country who want to serve. Public service is good and is only as good as the people that are willing to run and fight and be part of, and fight for our freedom, to protect our democracy, protect our Constitution, but do it in a civil, respectful, dignified way.
What does leadership do, though, when, say, disciplining Lauren Boebert here, censuring her, it actually just seems to give Lauren Boebert or the Lauren Boeberts and the Paul Gosars of Congress exactly what they want and honestly, politically, what they need?
I'm trying to figure it out. I, by the way, represent the largest population of Arab Americans in the country. I've been dealing with this bigotry and hatred and threat since I got elected, and quite frankly, before I was elected, because of other things. And this community really hurts. They're really, but they're good Americans. I mean, here's something I want to remind people of. One of the worst incidences of terrorism in this country was in Oklahoma by young white men who were members of the Michigan militia. We cannot look at somebody and judge them or have built-in biases or think about what they are. We need to respect everybody, and I mean everybody. And I think we've got to find a way that I really am focused on this collective deep breath, because the tit for tat, it is, was reading Gandhi last night. I was upset about some things. And, an eye for an eye leaves everybody blind. We got to start to figure out how we're going to tone down collectively this anger, this vitriolicness in this country.
I wish more people were reading Gandhi, Congresswoman. I do want to ask you, because your office in Dearborn was broken into, it was vandalized yesterday. Do you know what's behind this?
I don't. The when the police called me, I met them over there at the office. None of my technology was taken. They had taken some patriotic paddles that had been given to me, and taken it and damaged memorabilia of my husband. So the police said it was obviously personal. I'm not going to say that it didn't bother me, but I have removed all the important memorabilia, things that have sentimental or historical value to me, from the office. And I'm going right back out today and doing my job.
I'm really sorry for that, Congresswoman. That must have been very upsetting to lose some memorabilia related to your late husband. I really appreciate you being with us this morning.
Thank you. Remember, everybody, just try a little kindness.
I'm going to take a breath. I'll tell you that, Congresswoman. Sounds like a good idea.
Thank